Welcome to the Rose City Breakdown. We are in the Providence Park press box right now, and after the Portland Thorns' 2-0 win over first place of the NWSL table, San Diego Wave, right? So now Portland Thorns move into first place after, what was it, match week 6 now?
I think so.
Yeah, and it was a really interesting game. It was a big chess match. I think both teams really try to enforce their will on this game. But Portland, like I said, number 2 coming into this match. Number 1 was San Diego Wave, and then it's in front of 20,000 fans too, Leo. So the total number was 19,806 for a Wednesday evening match. What were your just general thoughts on this match?
First of all, not expecting that attendance number. I was thinking maybe a 15, 16,000. And that was not the case. So
Yeah.
that was nice. It was also very empty before the game. And so it filled in really well.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels good to get back at San Diego because they beat the Thorns a couple weeks ago on a similar Wednesday night short turnaround game in San Diego.
Yeah.
And that was kind of rough, and it was good to see the Thorns do better against them, for lack of a better way of putting that.
Yeah, it was their first loss of their only loss of the season too, to San Diego, right? And that short week, like you said, and the fact that the league has them kind of playing a rematch within a month is pretty crazy to me. But I digress. So the biggest thing is, let's look over some of the analytics, right? So Portland Thorns ended up with about 42% possession. They had less XG. What is it? 0.21 to 1.05 for San Diego. San Diego had 10 shots to 5 for Portland. Both teams had 3 shots on target.
San Diego had 1 big chance, and the Thorns had 0, according to FOTMob, which we're looking at right now.
And then passing, obviously we already knew San Diego Wave was going to have most of the ball anyways, so that wasn't a surprise. But yeah, I think it's interesting because, Leo, let's talk about this, because they've been out-generated in XG for a little bit. Their XG difference is going to keep climbing. It's in the negatives, right? But this team is let's talk about the defensive shape. It's very bend but don't break type of defense, right? And it's working for them, right? Because their press has won them the ball so high up a lot of the time, and then they'll pounce on teams on the counter. But let's talk about the first half real quick. I think the first half, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was atrocious, especially because their back passing, the constant back passing was really bad, right?
Yes.
It almost led to, go ahead.
San Diego was picking off a fair amount of those balls and not really getting a chance to do much with them. And it kind of was one of those things where it was like, okay, they have halftime to regroup. Yeah. They're going to learn how to punish the Thorns for giving them these balls.
Yeah.
So it was kind of scary. I think the Thorns were really lucky to go up when they did, because I think there was less of a sense of panic when they were giving up bad balls or just risky moments to San Diego, because they were up a goal. While we're talking about the first half, Marie Müller with a goal in the 10th minute.
Yeah.
Off of being out all of last year with an ACL injury. First defender to score a goal this year. And it was a beautiful shot.
Yeah. I think she talked about it in the post game, and she was a little bit surprised too. She's like, "Oh, I need to have a celly ready next time." And I think it's just a beautiful moment because this is a player who's worked her tail off to come back, right? And this is the same story we're going to hear about a lot of Thorns this year. Kai Hanks, Morgan Weaver when they come back, Julie DeFore when she comes back later in the season. We did get an update on Kai Hanks and Morgan Weaver. They're already training on grass, which is a really good sign. And then I think Robert Villaham said that they would be looked at after, the international break in June. And then they'll see where they can kind of take that. So it looks like that summer window is still kind of where they originally had, and it's still consistent with that. But Marie Müller's 10th minute goal, the first half, I think the biggest thing was, I think Jessie Fleming saved them a lot, and Mackenzie Arnold saved them a lot. But the 3 changes we have to talk about in the lineup, right? All in the back line, right? Marie comes on, starts at what is it, left back. Reina Reyes on the right side. Then you have Jaden JP Perry and Issa Obeys coming in.
Neither of whom played last game.
Yeah, exactly.
Also. They both played, but it was Yeah,
But
big
yeah.
rotation in defense, which
Yeah.
is not where you normally see a big rotation.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think Portland Thorns have 4 center backs they can just kind of rotate in and out now. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if what movement happens this summer. But, and then let's talk about the second half too, Leo, because we were looking.
Real quick
Yeah,
on
go
the
ahead.
center backs. We talked to Wilhelm about that and about the fullbacks, and basically, yeah, he has 4 center backs that he can switch in, and he has 4 fullbacks. Maybe Mally is a little bit on the outside of that, but I think she's a player that's shown she can grit out a game, and I would have no questions about throwing her in that mix.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Calzada is just,
but
just.
I think, yeah, he just has the opportunity to pick and choose the players he wants based on the opponents they're going up against, and that is kind of a luxury to have.
Yeah. Let's
I'm
talk.
excited.
Can we talk about Mackenzie Arnold real quick? Because Macca has 10 saves in 2 games. The last 2 games has been I don't think I've seen her play better football for the Portland Thorns. Like this season, she just looks like a completely different player in the best way possible, right? Like she is coming off her line a lot more. She's aggressive, getting to the ball. She's she's clearing balls, that from long balls, direct play, things like that.
The save she had in the 60th minute,
Oh,
1v1 on
saved the game.
Portillo. That would have changed the dynamic of the game.
Yeah.
Huge save just on its own. The Thorns defense got beat, and I thought that was going in.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. She's been making a lot of these big time saves, and I think I'm hearing a lot of things being said about her. But I'm like, she's playing good football. If you look at the expected, her prevention goals stat, she's always kind of near the top, right? And it just now the eye test matches up and everything too. You know what I mean? So it's just really cool to see that. And then according to Fatma, like she's also the player of the match. Second was Marie Müller. Obviously, Marie Müller had an excellent day at the office. Then let's talk about Soph Wilson.
Can I add on to the Macca real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is I think it's just been cool to see her grow into her confidence with this team.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to see the fans embrace her
Yeah.
throughout these, I feel like end of last season up until now. And I talked to her last year about building up her confidence with this team and kind of the general dynamic of not feeling as embraced in the Thorns and kind of having to win over Thorns fans' affection and goodwill, especially coming in for someone like Bella Bixby, who is as beloved as she is. And I think it's really great to see her building that confidence and getting these big saves that are only going to further build her confidence and just really effectively command her box, control games, and ultimately pull out some big saves to give the Thorns a shutout in a game where they kind of needed a shutout.
Yeah, it's just really interesting because, if you're looking at the momentum chart, right, for the attacking, like Portland was the better team in the first half. San Diego by far was the better team in the second half. But the thing that impresses me the most about this defense, Leo, is they can handle a lot of pressure. They're willing to handle a lot of pressure. They're willing to absorb that just so they can get looks, in the end. And that's what happened in the second half, right? Portland only had a few opportunities in the second half. Soph Wilson, second time, in 2 games. She said it too. She's like, once I score 1, I think I can continue to keep rolling.
Seal has been broken.
Yeah, and the floodgates are open now. And what did you see on her on that goal?
Classic Soph, honestly. Just you give her the ball and she just hits something, tucks it in the corner really neatly, makes it look easy.
Yeah.
And that's just the kind of shots that I feel like Soph wasn't quite putting away earlier this year, and she knows she can put those away, and I think now that she has that 1 goal under her belt from last game, I think they will continue to come.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, obviously, I think Robert Wilhelm said it really well in the press conference. He's like, yeah, we know we didn't play our best football. We have a lot of things to work on still. And that's refreshing honesty to me. You know what I mean? Like, and my whole thing with the defensive shape is in the pressing triggers. He brings that up all the time. But I love hearing the details behind that because it's kind of showing you how, like, the defense is structured. Yes, they're gonna give up a little bit of XG, but that's not actual goals. You know what I mean? So does that worry you, just the XG differential? You know what I mean? Because it's in the negatives now. Like,
I don't think so, honestly, based on the way they're playing.
Yeah.
There are times where you see teams give up a lot of good chances, and you're like, someday the ball is just going to bounce the other way, and that's going to just come back and bite you. And you're maybe overperforming right now. I think maybe with the exception tonight, where I think the Thorns did also, Arnold came up big, and just a couple of those shots, just San Diego hit them wide. I think for the most part, what I like about this Thorns defense is the extent to which they control their defensive box. And so I think the XG matters to me less if they're limiting teams from getting those good chances in the first place, and I think that is something that they're only going to get better at as the season progresses, as they get more used to playing together, as they get more used to Wilhelm's system. So I would say not really.
I love the fact that you kind of explain that, because I think the biggest thing is, what do they lead the league in? Clearances per game, right? Number one. Number two, like, is their box defending way better than last year? Yes. Like, that's the big thing that comes into my mind, because last year they were struggling on set pieces, box defending in general, and then this year it's been shored up quite a bit. Have they been a little fortunate sometimes? Yes, but sometimes you have to create your own luck. You know what I mean? And Leo, last one for you. We'd love to know, like, who were some of your standouts, and what lingering concerns do you still have?
Standouts, player we haven't talked about, Jessie Fleming, I
Oh.
think. First time in a Thorns captain's armband. Obviously, we've seen her do that for Canada, but covered a lot of ground tonight, as always. I think she stepped in with some really key interceptions, really good just pressure on the ball on the opponents. She was really big for me. I think Issa Obeys was another player that I don't think we've talked quite enough about, just kind of shutting everything down defensively. I also thought she had a really good night. Concerns, I think, is maybe just kind of the wear and tear of this season at this point. We're playing a lot of games back to back to back, and it's kind of condensed right now. And we're seeing a lot of defensive rotation, and we're not necessarily seeing as much in the midfield and forward positions. And I hope that goes well for them. But if I had to circle an area where I'm concerned, I think it would be just keeping players fit and fresh and ready to go. Wilhelm also talked about just having as much defensive depth as they have and being able to rotate in that, and kind of how, with all the injuries that they're working back from and the younger players that they're bringing in, they don't necessarily have that luxury on the other lines. But I think that's something I would keep an eye on. And I think managing expectations, especially as this team plays together more, and other teams then start to figure out what they're trying to do, because I think that's part of why they've been as successful as they have, is it's a lot harder to scout a team with a new coach who you don't quite as much know what you're up against.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's just just putting less pressure on the back line to to be really, really good every single match. I think that's number one. I think the front line just needs the ball more too. You know what I mean? They just need more opportunities up there, because I didn't think they particularly had the best night, but they took the chance. Soph took the chance when she had one, but that's just what they're really good at right now. They don't need many chances to do wonderful things, right? But the one thing I really did like was, like I said, Mackenzie Arnold has been superb to me the past month or so. You know what I mean? But since she's come back, she's just been like on a mission, right? And then Marie Müller looks vintage Marie Müller, like just bombing forward and then just kind of tracking back with that speed. It just, you can't teach speed, right? And then I think Moultrie had a few really good passes in this game too.
She was someone else I was going to bring up as someone who I think other teams have done a really good job of limiting her impact. In these past couple games, and I would like to see the Thorns figure out how to solve that pressure and kind of get her into the spaces where we know she can operate really well, because I think that will also unlock another element of their attack.
I can't believe I'm saying this question. I'm going to end with this. Who are their starting center backs? Because they have a few options now. Like, I still think in the long run they should probably add like a stud center back, you know what I mean, just to control the game a little bit more. But like Sim Hai has been a great leader for this team all season long, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of positives. So now, like we said, Marie Müller, first goal since NWSL goal, but first goal since her return as well. So 2 for 2 now in the past 2. Jessie Fleming had another big day. Mackenzie Arnold, 3 clean sheets. Portland Thorns have 4 as a team in 7 matches as well. And like we said, like, they're in first place in the NWSL table. I don't think many people had them, especially with a new head coach and Robert Wilhelm as well. So But that's all from us from at Providence Park. It was a lovely day, perfect pitch conditions and everything, and we'll be back
And
again
a
with
perfect result.
exactly.
To
So
match.
we'll be back again soon.